The internet is all excited right now because there are whisperings of Sydney Sweeney, Big Titty Sydney, and Glenn Powell dating. And who cares? That's all I have to say. Who cares? What these two individuals should be concerned with, as far as I'm concerned, aside from how hot the other one is how bad their movie was. And frankly, how bad all movies are right now, for that matter. Welcome back to Talk to Me Taylor, baby. I'm back in the saddle again.
Deemed the Celebrity Whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touchdown. You're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby.
This is good.
Taylor Ferber.
Hey, everybody, we are back. We're here. We're unhinged, loud, proud, here to be heard. As you guys know, my ride or dies. This show, Talk to Me Taylor, has taken a little bit of a back seat as I have really new, exciting projects that are they are pussy popping like Sydney Sweeney at Glenn Powell's sister's wedding, all about the town. All right. If you haven't yet checked out Politically Uncensored, my new late night talk show, Tuesday and Thursday nights, live at 10 p.m. Eastern, as well as Undressed with Joe Francis, And I would be remiss if I did not bring to your attention that I did jump back in the saddle of OnlyFans. So tell your friends, tell your side pieces, okay? Because we're going to have some fun and it is going to go down. I figure, you know what? Half of these women are showing this shite all over the internet, all over beaches, all over here, there, Coachella, whatever, for free. You know what? May as well make a buck. So that is where we're at. But you know what? In the meantime, guys, I'm with you. You are with me. And we are back in the saddle of the solo sessions. Just the two of us. It's getting sexy. Okay. So yes, I'm unhinged. We're all on who's not. You know what I mean? It's just like the news cycle is going to do that to you these days, but we wouldn't have it any other way. So today we are going to be talking about, I hate this word, just as much as a woke person hates and is like repulsed by and has an aversion to common sense. But the word authenticity, it's been used, it's abused, at Diddy's freak off parties or not. I don't even get, it's overused, right? But my question for you all today is, wait for it, is authenticity dead? Is it dead? I know. You're thinking, what? Like, girl, we know you've been busy. We know you've been out about, but like, what? Because it's all about. Well, so we think authenticity right now, right? Why Trump is the most powerful guy in the world. I mean, he's an entertainer. He calls Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas at the address to Congress, for crying out loud, right? Like, it doesn't get more authentic than that. I don't know. We're going to dive into it today, and put on your scuba gear. Let's dive into this Dora the Explorer, this little biatch could never, and let's explore this topic today. So I start off with the Sydney Glenn Powell thing because I did begrudgingly watch their movie, Anyone But You. I was like, maybe this will resuscitate the rom-com. I don't know. Here's hoping. And I didn't even watch the whole thing, and I'm still pissed about it. Okay. I watched it like half buzzed on a plane. I'm pretty sure on on 2x speed, and just jump forward the whole time. Okay. Right. And I still won't get that, 34 minutes back, if that, of my life. It's just these movies are so bad. Literally, they are not even funny. They are so cheesy. They're so predictable, but not even in like a wedding planner kind of, I don't even know I would love to hear from you guys. Why even how do you honestly fudge up a rom-com? How do you, literally, you have to be brain dead. It is the easiest formula in the world, okay? And I'm not talking about formula like CRT, math is racist, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 because that's white supremacy. I'm talking basic bitch stuff here. But I don't because it's not even like anything but you, like some other new rom-coms was trying to be like DEI and politically correct and like feeling, I don't even know what, it just is not funny. It's not smart. I'm sorry. It's just not like their hotness can't save them in this case. And that's the thing, right? I got thinking about this app going, wait a sec though. I know the OG rom-coms, the good, I'm talking Made in Manhattan. I'm talking about like all, you know the deal. Legally Blonde, Devil Wears Prada, all these. These aren't essentially synonymous with or ripe with authenticity, right? They're cheesy and fairy tale and cliche, and we know that, but we love them. So that's what it got me thinking about authenticity. It's like, I said this about Honora. It just was like depressing. Like, I'm like, listen, I would almost prefer Julia Roberts slap back on those knee highs and get up with Richard Gere because this shit is just depressing. Like, it just made, I was like, why are all, like, the movie ends and she's crying in the car. Like, why are all movies, it's like a little too authentic. Like, I don't know if I want to be that attached to reality at this point in time. So that's what got me thinking with like movie making magic. Like maybe in this realm, it does, because we're going to talk about three buckets today. We got the movies, we got the media, and we got politics. And when authenticity may or may not be ever in your favor. So when it comes to this, it's a little bit like y'all lost the plot, I think, literally, actually, because maybe we just want to be lied to for an hour and a half. And I repeat, an hour and a half, an hour 31 too long. Get over yourselves. Self-indulgent. We have lives to lead. We're watching things on double speed now anyways. Move on. So maybe in that department, right? It's not working. We don't want it that often. We want the good old formula. And we've seen this go off the rails. Okay. I have sympathy for the non-existent CGI dwarves. Okay. Thrown off the rails quite literally in Snow White. And we've seen when this has happened. Look, you guys know I've been reporting on Disney. I've been flown all over the world on their set visits, for years. I mean, not as of late. Obviously, I think they caught wind of what I'm saying up in this bee here on YouTube. But this is like prime example yet again of trying to force things, being inauthentic, and it just tanking like the eroded pirate ship of the Caribbean that it is. And we saw this. I mean, the fact that Rachel Ziegler is entitled, obnoxious Gen Z personified, her political beliefs, her beliefs that, she should be paid for just standing in a 20-foot proximity of a Disney water park, even if she's, sucking on a lollipop. She deserves to get paid for that. Like, bitch, whatever. All of that aside, the fact that they were trying so hard and so desperate and reaching so hard to be liked, which again, this is where it doesn't work, sweetheart. To cast Snow White, literally has white in the name, with a brown woman, okay? That's first of all, that they couldn't even, and by the way, I've said this many times, just because you're calling this out does not mean you're a racist. It means make a new movie, try it, create something. That's what you people are supposed to be doing, which is why you're hemorrhaging hundreds and millions of dollars. But they got so entangled in their own witchy web of spooky cockamamie stuff that they couldn't even bring themselves, though, where actually it would make sense to cast dwarves, midgets, as the dwarves, and they did, but then they were all like different color, non-binary, like androgynous. I don't even know. And that was confusing. So then they made them CGI look. The whole thing was a complete and utter mess. I don't know. They're going to be working overtime. They're going to be picking up shifts at Subway on the graveyard shift to be making up for this money loss, right? Because it doesn't work. And I don't know what part of them, for the love of God, is still holding on by a string. Like, it doesn't work. I don't know who you guys are trying to please. Apparently, Seth Rogen calls this out in his new HBO series, The Studio. And I thought about watching some of it, but again, unless it's White Lotus or Severance, I really can't be bothered, which, by the way, Helly R. I have serious words for you. Like I will sue. I'm going to sue your ass. Okay? Bad girl. Bad girl. But apparently Seth Rogen in this show calls out the performative ways of Hollywood as of late. And, how he would literally be, I don't know if this is in the show or in subsequent interviews he did about it, but how he would literally be in meetings with studio execs and they would ask like point blank, like, is this person Native American of indigenous descent? Okay, what gender is the alien? Like, do we give a flying shit about what gender ET is? Get with the program. Nobody cares. And there's a part of me, and I said this to you guys, in all honesty, on my Instagram. I mean, this is why I'm a little bit lacking of inspiration and why I'm fatigued, to be quite honest and frank with you, around all of this, because I have been saying this for at least 5 years. I mean, do you remember Cancel Me Baby, my OGs? That was the show before Talk to Me Taylor, what it was called. Cancel Me Baby actually would have turned 5. I mean, the show does turn 5 right now, like this spring, last month, basically. I have been talking about this since the land before time, okay? Before Pocahontas even knew what the colors of the wind were. So I'm seeing all of this now, and I'm just like, for the love of God, people, where have you all been residing? I mean, have you been residing in a circus tent that is Cory Booker's never-ending 24-hour Senate speech that actually nobody was at and present for, like changing his diaper probably? Where has everybody been? So it's just a little bit exhausting, and it's exhausting on both ends of it, truthfully. It's exhausting that people are now just talking about it. And I think I've said this before, but even you have mainstream voices like Charlemagne the God, Andrew Schultz. It's like, now it's the cool thing, but where were you all 5 years ago? That's right. You were just, trying to get your check. And I was out here saying it for everybody else, but fine, whatever. We will get to that. The vengeance will be paid, okay? None of this like abundance in life crap. No, I want my checks and my IP for this very thought. No, but it's exhausting. And then it's like in both ends it is. It's exhausting that now people are just coming around to it when I've been shouting this and even writing about it. You guys, obviously, which is why you've been so drawn and we're so drawn to Cancel Me Baby at the time, because you were like, I smell BS. I'm over this. And the fact that you still have studios pushing this garbage, this hot, smelly garbage in a Midwestern landlocked, humid 100-degree day. I mean, that's what this pile of poo-poo doo-doo is. So it's like, I don't even know. I don't know where it goes from here, because what I've heard also from conservative rings is that the conservative sort of like revolt movies are super cheesy. That's like the counterculture to all this. So I don't know. It is just a mess. I will just be rewatching Food Network and probably Legally Blonde on reruns and just be happy with that, because that's like literally the only good content out there. Okay. But anyways, a little sidebar on this, right? When it comes to authenticity is the media in and of itself. And again, something that I've been talking about for ages. Like, I'm pretty sure in my last life I was, right? But the media in and of itself. And this has been interesting to watch come to fruition. I mean, we've seen it. Look, we just saw it with The Atlantic, right? How they tried to paint this murderous, rapist, violent, terrorist gang member essentially as this like innocent Maryland father. It's like, sweetie, it's kind of a weird look. Like, why is this your hill to die on? It's like super like interesting, questionable like fetish that you have, that like this would be your thing. But that whole thing has become so convoluted, right, in and of itself. But again, we've seen this for years. COVID was really the pinnacle of this, but where they would lie, they would cherry pick facts, but they would also take it a step further and deny what your own two eyes were seeing. In real, like, we're seeing it, but no, you're not actually seeing it. So we, just like Disney going in the trash, it's not even, I don't even know if it's worth being recycled. I'm sorry to the environmentally climate activists, environmentally friendly advocates. Okay. I don't even know if Disney's worth recycling, but same thing with the media. Like, we are all just so fatigued and tired. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of the forcing, the indoctrination, the nonsense doesn't reflect what we actually think. In the entertainment side, just entertain us. Not hard. You had one job. In the media side, just inform us. Again, not hard, but what did you have to do? A big fat bukkake circle jerk onto everyone who ever agreed with you and your party, essentially, your respective party, right? So we've lost faith in both. And what's interesting now, though, to see is how, first of all, Trump and his Trump way in like all caps tweeted basically like we should stop funding taxpayer backed entities, by the way, NPR, PBS, what have you. You have Catherine Marr, the CEO of NPR, who is just testifying. And it is the saddest and most entertaining thing, right? Because she is like being grilled and is literally being asked, like, do you, or this is the woman who was running NPR, guys. Okay, let's just, at the height of BLM, of COVID, of Russiagate, of the Hunter Biden laptop start, like, need I go on? And she's being grilled and roasted, like, do you or do you not believe in reparations? She's like, no, I don't. And he's like, okay, well, here's this tweet, because you tweeted that you did, and reads all her tweets verbatim and debunks everything she says. But the reason that this is so significant is because if you remember, I don't remember if it was like last year or the year before, but Uri Berliner, who was like a vet reporter at NPR, was a huge whistleblower. And he wrote a piece in the Free Press saying this is why we've lost America's trust, and talked about when all of these issues were brought up in the newsroom, like many entities. You've heard this with New York Times, like, you know, Washington Post, everywhere, that it was just this sort of osmosis of groupthink. And God forbid, if you had another thought, you would just be reprimanded or I mean, shit, I dealt with this at like Bustle and for like Vulture at New York Magazine. Okay. So imagine like the big dogs. And what's so ironic was I actually was on NPR and interviewed and featured on NPR talking about the very thing that Uri Berliner was suspended for and made the scapegoat of and thrown under the bus for, right? Which is essentially like groupthink and cancel culture. The reason I was on NPR is because they had me talk about the whole Chrissy Teigen bullying scandal. I'd called her out years prior, and she tried to cancel me. It became a national news story a couple years later because her bullying, you know, cyberbullying and telling people to kill themselves essentially came to light. And I wrote an op-ed about it in USA Today. So when I was interviewed on NPR, I basically said like this whole, yes, was I on the brunt of her psychotic like break? Yes. But this cancel culture BS goes round and round. And even in the op-ed I wrote, like, if we want to have more inclusive dialogue, not this bullshit Snow White wannabe try hard pick me inclusive. I'm talking the real deal. We have to bring people in the conversation with any of this stuff. White people talking about race when they're petrified, shaking in their puss in boots. Men talking about women's issues. All these, even Chrissy Teigen talking about bullying, right? So in hindsight, I just thought how ironic that I was in there calling out the thing that was going on in their very organization, to no surprise, right? So we'll see how all of that pans out. But yeah, I mean, they're all completely flailing. And this is, again, something that I don't know why it's just taking I feel like it's just like slow motion. Like, why is this all taking so it's like a bad, long Oscars winning movie that's obscure and nobody saw except for like 3 people at an indie theater once. Why is it being dragged out until the end of time? They're all flailing. I don't care if it's Disney. I don't care if it's these media entities. They're trying too hard. They're forcing it down our throats. It's not what actual people living and breathing specimens of this country believe. The jig is up. The jig is up. So why they're holding on is beyond me, and what it's going to, you know, we discuss this a little bit on our Twitter spaces, but you also need to tune in on if you know what's right. We know what's good for you. Got to get right and tight Monday nights, every Monday night at 7 Eastern. But we talked about like, yes, this has been like a slow burn, but what is it going to take, and what will it even look like when the revolution happens, so to speak, or the Renaissance, like when the tide will fully turn? Because it's like, I don't know, these people they seem like smart people. They have to be somewhat smart to be running these big entities, but like, you don't seem very bright. You're not very pretty and you're not very bright. You know, if you know, you know, from a Cinderella story, another classic. So, lastly, is authenticity in politics, guys. This actually shocked me today. It takes a lot. You know, we've seen some things. We've seen some things at this point in time, we millennials. We're on the struggle bus, the struggle city. But it shocked me to see that Elon Musk may be stepping away from Doge. But I have to say, in the crystal balls that are my Sydney Sweeneys, I kind of saw this coming because they're saying that he was just sort of, you know, basically people in Trump's administration, I think, are saying he's a little bit unpredictable. He's just a little bit, you can't control him. And it's not a good look for politics. As much as Trump is like a bull in a china shop and like doesn't give a flying F and is what you see is what you get and is a disruptor, even Elon, I think, was like, he came in swinging. He came in doging. Now, I'm all for Doge, as you guys know. I don't know why people have a hard on for wasting our hard earned tax money on giving money to a 187-year-old or giving money to a country that nobody has heard of. I mean, or money to somebody who can't even respond to an email. I mean, bye, okay? As Justin Timberlake once poetically said. So he came in hard, but I think it was sort of a mutual agreement where he'll now be sort of like an honorary, like he'll oversee things or supervisor to some extent, but apparently next month will be, you know, Judgment Day and will be the time. So that made me think like, damn, because because Elon is super authentic. You know, whether it be, I truly think that he says what he thinks. And even his sweeping changes with Doge, even though it was abrupt, again, I'm all for it. Like time is money. Let's go. Let's do this. Like efficiency all the way. If you want something done, do it yourself. Like I'm a grinder. I'm a hustler. As you know, like I have no time for the dilly dally, entitlement, lazy culture. Let's get on with our lives. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. Survival of the fittest, roll with or roll home. So I was for it. But I get that people were saying it's Swift. Again, he's a little, you know, out there, so to speak, but you can't knock and you can't say he wasn't authentic. And I would always joke he was like my favorite Asperger's kid, just being so awkward, jumping in really, you know, weird positions on stage, doing salutes, saying things and chuckling like, you know, a sixth grade girl at her first dance when her crush comes and talks to her. And the crush in this case for Elon is Trump, like just the whole thing. Right. And so I thought, oh, snap. So in this case, like, did authenticity kill the cat that is Elon? Like in politics, it have to be a little bit, as much as we love how human and populist it is, and like I said, what you see is what you get. Even like, does it have an image to protect, a rep to protect, like the media, like Hollywood? I mean, I was like, dang, I thought this admin was really pulling no punches, but I think Elon maybe to take it a little too far. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what unfolds. This just happened today. This news just came out. So we'll see. But yeah, I was surprised about that. So put a pin in that thought because this is going to take me. I'm not just wandering around talking about a Cinderella story. This is no Cinderella story, any of. The only Cinderella story, by the way, is me and you here right now, right? But it is going to get to where I'm going with all of this. It is all not for naught. So the other big story that really caught my attention was Kid Bobby Rock. That's right, good old Bob Rock orchestrating Bill Maher to go to the White House and meet Trump, which was a huge deal because Bill Maher is one of the most famous, notable, recognizable leftist, old school Democrat comedians and figures, thought leaders, like arguably globally, right? And he, although he hates woke nonsense, he hates what's happened with immigration, he hates like all the trans kookiness, he has had choice words and he has railed in on Trump. Notable. Like he is literally, I'm not going to get graphic right now, but if there was an oversized think he would shove it in Trump's. Anyways, he hasn't spared any. I'm trying to be family somewhat friendly here in case y'all are listening to your cars with your children. Hopefully, who is listening to this in their cars with their children? Let's just say that. But in the event that you are, hopefully, for the love of God, not leaving Snow White, I'm going to keep things friendly here. But you get it. He's had no problem reaming Trump out. And it seems like, and now Bill Maher's not going to talk about what happened until Friday, but it seems like he had a really grand old time. I'm not saying they were actually like playing Ring Around the Rosie, but he posted on April Fool's Day saying, I'm going to like brief you all on Friday. And even if I did say like what I actually want to say, you won't believe me anyway, right? Because it's April Fool's, which leads me to think that it was okay. And Kid Rock has gone on to say publicly that it was great, that they all got along, that they could, have conversation and dialogue and see eye to eye on things. And again, it's so great to see this. Don't know where these people were 5-6 years ago. Again, like not everyone is like us guys. Like some people are just a little slow. Some people are just a little slow. So that's just how it's going to be. Like you and I, we gotta just accept the fact that we are the superiors. Okay. No, just tooting our own horns here. But no, I mean, I love, all in all, again, even though this is late to the party, even though it's delayed, I loved to see this because this is what we need. And the truth is, even though it's become so hostile, and I've seen it honestly, even in my own life with strangers, with loved ones, and it's sad, even though it has become so charged and politicized and polarized and hostile, at the end of the day, when you're sitting there, it's a different kind of story. And it sounds cliche, but we have more in common than not. And even the way that Kid Rock told the story, it was really funny. He's like, Trump said to me, like, what do you do? I don't know. Because imagine like you're having a dinner party and the person who's like made the nasty Karen Facebook post about you for like 5+ years comes to dinner. It's like, guess who's coming to dinner? You're like, excuse me, what I signed up for. So that Trump was like, wait, what? What am I getting myself into? But that they were all able to talk. And that's the thing. Look, I even experienced it with celebrities, and I won't name names, and I couldn't even tell you that's like, I think I've suppressed that entire part of my life in my head. No, but there are so many times when I would like talk shit about celebrities or think a certain way, but then you're with them in person and you're suddenly singing a different tune. It's like, when everyone, actually, I don't know because I wasn't in a sorority and I have no regrets about that, but it's almost like the mean girl, the Regina George of the sorority leader, like everyone talks shit about them, but then you're face to face and you're like, oh my God, Regina, I love your skirt. Where'd you get it? It's kind of like that. So I'm interested to see if Bill Maher actually did press him, which I'm sure he did, but I hope he does, because if not, then that's not authentic and it's totally fake because, bro, you have been roasting this guy in public for the world to see for years and years now, right? But this whole gathering is authentic. It's like we can have the conversation, we can get along, we can talk. And even if there are, I had an instance recently where I was sitting on a plane, I was watching Fox News, and the woman next to me was watching MSNBC, and she nudges me like this. And she goes, I was listening to my headphones. She goes, you're watching this. I watched this. She goes, did you vote for Trump? I said, yeah. She goes, I hope he dies. I was like, wow, that's just really something. Talk about the party of love and light. Am I right? And inclusivity and understanding and empathy. No, but at the end of the flight, and I don't get into it with people like even family. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. It's just like not worth my breath, I'd rather take it to here, where we just like get each other. We're like this. And so at the end of the flight, there was some turbulence, and she actually handed me some gum, and we were fine. And we talked about our travels, and it was all good. So I'm sure I'm interested to see, I don't know how much they will divulge. Like, what did they eat? What did they sing? What did they play? Did they talk about strippers and hookers? Like, I don't know. Anything is fair game with these people, but is it authentic all in all? I mean, yeah, good for them for getting together and actually doing it. You guys did it. Good job. You actually did. And you don't always have to agree, and that's the beauty of it, right? But the fact that we can sit down and be civil, it's good for them to lead by example and actually walk the walk. So yippee-ki-yay, bravo, yeah, all those cliches. So lastly, very quickly before I wrap, is Morgan Wallen. And this is where it plays into the authenticity thing too, because you know by now that he just walked off of SNL as a musical guest. It's really custom and kosher to like kind of break bread with everybody and like mingle and say, oh, great job, like with the cast and everyone. And he was not having it. He was like, I'm bouncing, I'm out. And he goes as far as to post a picture of his private jet afterwards on his Instagram and saying, take me back to like, please take me back to God's country, right? And this is a guy who's like always sings about and talks about being, you know, raised in Tennessee and loving the country and country roots and all of this. And I have thoughts about it, which you can listen to on last night's on our April Fool's Day Politically Uncensored. But, you know, you had Kenan Thompson who, you know, went on, he's the longest running SNL member, and he like really, you know, poked fun at and had choice words for Morgan Wallen and just saying how not, you know, how uncool it was. One of the SNL writers mocked him and made fun of him, which, dude, like, I don't think you have any right because the show literally hasn't been funny in at least 15 years. But obviously, Morgan Wallen doing this was authentically him. He's like, sorry, I don't need to play nice and phony fake with all of these Hollywood people. I have a plane to catch. I did my duty. I'm out. And that's authentic. Yeah, was it a dick move? Maybe. You know, did you go on and promote your show and then it couldn't be your new album and couldn't be having any part of it after? I mean, maybe, but it's also like he just did what he did and so what and who cares? And it got mixed reviews, obviously. It was a mixed bag. Some people like were in you know, all like the leftists and the cast members and all this, like you saw, and the people part of it were all left in a tizzy, where other people were like, whatever, live and let live. Like, why does he have to fake it and play nice? Like, that to me, again, dickish or not, it was authentic, but it got mixed reviews. And that's my point, I think, with this entire thing is it seems like we're like, yeah, authentic is the name of the game. Just be authentic, like especially this day and age, right? And obviously when it's fake, it doesn't work. But guys, I've really thought about being truly authentic. You don't really know. You got a 50-50 shot. You don't really know what the outcome will be. Look at what happened with Elon here or even Morgan Wallen, right? It could be a mixed bag. You could get mixed reviews. But I will say this, and I hope the same is true for you all as well. I would rather take the risk, and I personally would want to be my damn self and authentic every single time. Like, just call me a little daredevil, but I'm sorry. That is a risk that I would be willing to take. I'll see you guys next time.